Do you need it until after the meeting?
I don't need to talk to you.
Okay, yeah, because I could read. It's easier for me to read it this time. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Yes, sir. How are you today?
What's going on? How are you, sir? I'm well, thank you. How are you tonight?
For the regular city commission meeting, so this is the 11th day of March 2024 at 6 p.m. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Mercer. Here. Commissioner Dollison.
Here.
Commissioner Dantzler.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Yates.
Here.
And Mayor Birdsong.
Here. All right, we have invocation and there's no one listed.
Abdul Al-Khatib.
Oh, it is on here. It's not on my agenda. Abdul Al-Khatib. Would you stand in faithful, and we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Vanessa Castillo, City Clerk.
So let us pray. With the name of God, the merciful benefactor, merciful Redeemer, we come to you in this hour asking your prayers, peace, and blessings on these our commissioners and staff who have been called to lead our community in which we live, work, and play. We ask, dear Lord, that you will grant them the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and courage to make the decisions that will enable our city and its people to live, prosper, and grow in safety and unity. We ask, dear God, that in all their deliberations, they would think first of the least of these, when you said, what you've done unto the least of these, you've done unto me. We pray a special prayer tonight in the seasons of Lent and Ramadan. May it be a season of prayer, fasting, charitable giving, and sacrifice, done for your glory and the benefit of your people. Now, Lord, as we enter into this meeting, we thank you for answered prayer. We thank you for your grace and mercy. May we always be guided by the spirit of community, justice, and love, and give you all the praise, honor, and glory. And the
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Have some presentations, some proclamations. You're going to do them?
So we have two proclamations to read this evening. Commissioners, if you want to
Yes.
join us down front.
Down front.
MJ Carnevale, Deputy City Manager, will present our proclamations.
I believe Mr. Canning is here to receive this. Whereas by 1776, nearly 300,000 Irish nationals had emigrated to the American colonies and played a crucial role in America's war for independence. 5 signers of the Declaration of Independence were of Irish descent, and 3 signers were Irish-born. Irish Americans helped to fashion a system of government for our young nation. In fact, 22 presidents have proudly proclaimed their Irish American heritage. And whereas in 1792, Irish-born James Hoban provided the architectural plans for the White House and served as one of the supervising architects for the construction of the Capitol. And whereas Irish-born Commodore John Barry was recognized by the United States Congress in September of 2002 as the first flag officer of the United States Navy. Commodore John Barry fought the last sea battle of the American Revolution off the coast of Florida. And whereas in 1813, Captain Oliver Perry, an Irish-American, achieved a major naval victory in the Battle of Lake Erie. And whereas in 1942, the five Sullivan brothers made the ultimate sacrifice for democracy and freedom during the naval battle of Guadalcanal, and later had the destroyer USS Sullivan commissioned in their memory. And whereas the Irish first came to Spanish La Florida in the 1500s, first as missionaries and mercenary soldiers, and then as planters, traders, businessmen, doctors, and administrators. And whereas 3 of the Spanish governors of La Florida were actually Irish military officers. And whereas Father Richard Arthur, an Irish-born priest from Limerick, who was appointed parish priest for St. Augustine in 1597, and ecclesiastic judge of La Florida, established the first public school in America and opened it to both boys and girls of all races. And whereas Andrew Jackson, whose family came from County Antrim, served as Florida's military governor following its acquisition by the United States. And whereas Irish Americans, since America's inception, have provided and continue to provide leadership and service to this nation's political, business, and religious establishments. Therefore, it is fitting and proper to celebrate the rich heritage and the many valuable contributions of Irish Americans. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby recognize March 2024 as Irish American Heritage Month in the City of Winter Haven, Florida. In witness whereof, he has hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida to be affixed this 11th day of March 2024.
Mayor Birdsong, City Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of the Irish American community in Florida, I would like to express my gratitude for your kind consideration in designating March as Irish American Heritage Month. St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, is without question the biggest celebration of a national day across the globe. Throughout American and Canadian cities, in Ireland, the United Kingdom, Germany, Norway, Denmark, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, Japan, Nigeria, Grenada, and even on the Caribbean island of Montserrat, the only other country in the world to declare St. Patrick's Day a national holiday, people will be celebrating this occasion and proclaiming themselves Irish for the day. This proclamation will coincide with festivities that are currently underway as Irish Americans once again gather to celebrate their heritage throughout the state of Florida. During the month of March, Irish Floridians proudly reflect on the legacy of their Irish forebears who have contributed significantly in the areas of education, business, sports, literature, science, engineering, medicine, law enforcement, and the arts. These are just some of the contributions that have been made, not only by the Irish, but by so many ethnic and racial groups who came to these United States from the 4 corners of the world and who have assisted in developing this great country of ours. As the current Florida AOH State Secretary, past National Director for the Southern States, and past Florida State President of the Ancient Order of Hibernians, the oldest and largest Irish organization in the world, tracing our origins back to the 1500s as the Ribbon Societies, I would like to acknowledge the esteemed honor Mayor Birdsong and the City Commissioners have bestowed upon all Irish Americans living within this community and the great state of Florida. Thank you and have a blessed St. Patrick's Day.
Perfect. All right, count 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. Perfect.
All right, our next proclamation is Government Finance Professionals Week. I think members of our city finance team are here to receive that. Whereas the Florida Government Finance Officers Association is a professional association founded in 1937 and serves more than 3,300 professionals from state, county, and city governments, school districts, colleges, and universities, special districts, and private firms. And whereas the FGFOA is dedicated to being a professional resource by providing opportunities through education, networking, leadership, and information. And whereas this Government Finance Professionals Week, sponsored by the FGFOA and all of its member governmental organizations, is a week-long series of activities aimed at recognizing government finance professionals and the vital services they provide to our state and our community. And whereas during the week of March 18th, government finance professionals throughout the state of Florida will be acknowledged for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby recognize the week of March 18th as Government Finance Professionals Week in the City of Winter Haven and extend our appreciation to all government finance professionals throughout the state and here in the City of Winter Haven for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. In witness whereof, he has hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, to be affixed this 11th day of March, 2024.
Thank the commissioners for this proclamation. This is like better. Okay, we want to thank you all for this proclamation. This is like better than winning the Oscar. And we also...
Alan going to sing like the Kenergy song or anything?
That's it. We also want to thank the GFOA for this recognition. I don't know if you're aware, but the GFOA sets the standards for both our budget and financial reporting. We have 3 members, me, Alan Weeks, Debbie Tate, who couldn't be here, and Reuben Williams. He's our intern. We affectionately call him Reuben Sandwich, and he will be graduating in May, and he will also become a member. So the GFOA has the ruling authority of both the U.S. and Canada, but they do provide a lot of services like best practices, how to implement proclamations pronouncements. They offer training and job postings. That's how I found this job. So thank you very much.
It's like an Oscar.
All right, I'm hungry. 1, 2, 3. One more. Perfect.
Did you ever see the Barbie movie? Barbie movie? Did you see that? There's a character called Alan, because there was an Alan as well.
It's on my list. Never got
It's
to
hilarious. Michael Cera is the Alan.
All right. Developments of note, we have none. Commissioners, you have the February 7th minutes, the February 12th minutes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve February 7th and February 12th sets of minutes.
All right. I will now close the City Commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to these minutes may do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen the City Commission meeting. All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, the minutes are adopted. All right. We'll move on. Ordinance second reading. Ordinance
Mr. Mayor, comments from the audience? Is there any comments from the audience?
Oh, and I do have 2 comments. Cesar. No last name.
Take responsibility for that and myself.
This may pertain to an agenda item.
Is it pertain to an agenda item? Okay.
Which that goes first?
Which agenda item?
12C.
Okay, it's 12C. And the other one is 12C as well. So we will cover both of those when we get to 12C.
Thank you, sir.
I will give an opportunity to anyone else that may not have signed to address the commission. You may speak at this time if you would like. All right. Seeing none, I'll move on to ordinance second reading. 02411, would you read by title only, city? What do I call you?
Yeah, I'm the
Assistant City Attorney
Yes,
or
thank you.
City Attorney stand-in? What?
I am the Assistant City Attorney, yes.
All right, all right.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. Mayor, on the dais tonight is ordinance number O-24-11, an ordinance relating to finance, implementing sections 39 and 40 of Chapter 73-660 Laws of Florida as amended, making findings of fact and articulating intent, enacting Section 17-150 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, authorizing the city manager or designee to approve budget transfers of revenues and any parts or all of the unencumbered balances of appropriations within a fund, subject to City Commission ratification, providing for conflict, severability, codification, administrative correction of scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date. Mayor, this item is on for second reading tonight.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, we've had, I think, lots of discussion on this. I don't have any further information to share, and nothing's changed since your first reading or since agenda review. This is being recommended to better manage budgetary controls and improve transparency and enhance the overall budget process. Staff recommends City Commission approve ordinance O-24-11 on second and final reading.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve ordinance O-24-11 on second reading.
Thank you. I will now close the City Commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to O-24-11 may do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed is by the same sign. Hearing none, O-24-11 is adopted. All right, O-24-12, which will be read by title only, Assistant City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Next on the dais tonight is ordinance number O-24-12, an ordinance amending Chapter 21, Article 2, Division 3, Section 2168, and Chapter 21, Article 9, Section 21-531 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, for the purpose of amending standards and definitions related to fences and walls, providing for administrative correction of scrivener's errors, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing severability, providing for codification, providing an effective date. Mayor, this item is on for second reading and public hearing.
Thank you. So, City Manager, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. This is improving the flow of Section 2168 of the Code of Ordinances and providing clarification with respect to fences and walls and adding some maintenance requirements, setback standards, and definition for retaining walls. Second and final reading, Planning Commission did approve this unanimously, or vote unanimously to recommend this for your approval. Staff recommends City Commission approve ordinance O-24-12 on second and final reading.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
move for motion to approve O-24-12 and public hearing.
Thank you. I will now close the City Commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to O-24-12 may do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen the City Commission meeting. Commissioners, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, O-24-12 is adopted. O-24-14. Assistant City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Yes, Mayor. The next item on the dais tonight is ordinance number O-24-14, an ordinance of the City of Winter Haven amending Chapter 13, Pensions and Retirement Employee Benefit Programs, Article 2, Firefighters Retirement System of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven by amending Section 13-34, vesting to permit commencement of benefit payments to vesting to permit commencement of benefit payments to vested terminated members when they are otherwise qualified for early or normal retirement, providing for severability of provisions, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date. Mayor, this item is on for second reading and public hearing.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, again, we've had three discussions on this through agenda reviews. In the first reading, as noted, the Pension Board of Trustees for the fire pension for the City of Winter Haven is requesting to amend the vesting provisions of the plan to permit commencement of the benefit payments to vested terminated members when they are otherwise qualified for early or normal retirement. This is recommended for approval on second and final reading of ordinance O24-14.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve ordinance O-24-14 on second reading.
All right, thank you. I will now close the City Commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to O-24-14 may do so at this time by coming to the podium, stating your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen the City Commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Thank you. Motion carries. All right, Commissioners, we have the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole.
thank you. I will now close the City Commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to the consent agenda may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the City Commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none, the consent agenda is adopted. Resolution R2414. City Attorney, would you read by title only?
Thank you,
Assistant City Attorney, would
Thank
you
you,
read by title only, please?
Thank you, Mayor. The next item on the dais tonight is resolution number R-24-14, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, affirmatively accepting the conveyance of that certain real property from SAW Properties LLC, a Florida limited liability company, to the City of Winter Haven, Florida, as more particularly described in the quitclaim deed executed by SAW Properties LLC to the City of Winter Haven and recorded on July 31, 2023 in Official Records Book 12783, pages 1120 through 1121, Public Records of Polk County, Florida, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, the Commission had approved entering into this land swap agreement with SAW Properties on June 12, 2023, and the closing occurred on July 25, 2023. The deed was recorded at July 31st, 2023. Resolution R-2414 formally accepts the real property from SAW Properties LLC. Staff recommends City Commission approve Resolution R-24-14.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve resolution R-24-14.
Thank you. I will now close the City Commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to R-2414 may do so at this time by coming to the podium, stating your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Resolution R-2414 passes. Resolution R-2417, would you read by title only, Assistant City Attorney?
Yes, Mayor. Next item on the dais tonight is resolution number R-24-17, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, affirmatively accepting the conveyance of that certain real property from ACG BBQ LLC, a Delaware limited liability company authorized to do business in the state of Florida, to the City of Winter Haven, Florida, for lands as more particularly described in the quitclaim deed executed by ACG BBQ LLC, a Delaware limited liability company authorized to do business in the state of Florida, to the City of Winter Haven, Florida, and recorded in Official Records Book 12974, pages 1570 through 1574 of the Public Records of Polk County, Florida, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, on January 12, 2024, ACG BBQ LLC delivered a quitclaim deed for the real property, more particularly described there to the City of Winter Haven and noted on the map that's before you. This was recorded on January 17, 2024. The property will be utilized for sidewalk and right-of-way purposes and is conveyed in conjunction with the owner's development of a Sonny's Barbecue restaurant on the adjoining property. We'll note that sidewalk has already been constructed along U.S. Highway 17. Resolution R-2417 formally accepts the real property from ACG BBQ LLC. Staff recommends City Commission approve Resolution R-24-17. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
move to approve Resolution R-2417.
Thank you. I will now close the City Commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to R 2417 may do so at this time by coming to the podium, stating your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen the City Commission meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, Resolution R 2417 is adopted. All right, we have ordinances, first reading, and the second reading will be on March 25th. So ordinance 02409, Assistant City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Yes, Mayor. Next item on the dais tonight is ordinance O-24-09, an ordinance amending ordinance 2325, the 2035 Winter Haven Comprehensive Plan, 2035 Future Land Use Map Series, by revising the Future Land Use Map Series by assigning neighborhood suburban future land use to one annex parcel, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. General location, a parcel generally located southwest of the intersection of Old Bartow Lake Wales Road and Waters Road. The area covered by this request is 19.29 plus or minus acres. Mayor, this item is on for first reading tonight.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, Shelton Rice requests the city assign neighborhood suburban future land use and multifamily residential low-density R3 zoning district to an annexed parcel totaling 19.29 plus or minus acres. This is located at the southwest of the intersection of Old Bartow Lake Wales Road and Waters Road, and it was annexed into the city November 27th of 23. Petitioner proposes to develop the property with residential, but a specific product mix in units has not been determined at this point. At the maximum density of 12 units per acre allowed by the R3 zoning district, the theoretical maximum number of units is 231. Surrounded by single-family residential and land approved for the Peace Creek Village to the north, vacant land R3 zoning to the east, citrus groves to the south, and a single-family resident to the west. The Peace Creek Village has an approved site plan of 324 units with a mixture of single-family and townhomes. To the northwest toward County Road 653, 553 single-family units are under construction in the Peace Creek Reserve subdivision, and there's an approved site plan for 120 townhomes. Requested R3 zoning district would allow a maximum of 231 residential units based upon the acreage, and the table within your chart shows the expected potential demands for water, sewer, and as well as transportation. Final concurrency determination shall be made at the time the property receives site plan approval and is developed. As far as public schools, available capacity is determined by Polk County Public Schools at the time of final platting for subdivisions or upon final site plan approval for multifamily developments. Based upon the maximum build-out of 231 units, up to 48 elementary, 20 middle, and 33 high school seats may be required. This school, the closest school to this is going to be South Point Elementary, due west of here. The requested neighborhood future land use, the requested neighborhood suburban future land use is consistent with the surrounding city and uses and designations. The requested R3 zoning district is consistent with the neighborhood suburban future land use designation and city designations to the east and north. The Planning Commission heard this February 6th of 2024 and voted to recommend approval. There were no members who spoke. Staff recommends City Commission approve ordinance 02409 for advancement to second reading.
Thank you. All right, Commissioners, we will have second reading on March 25th. If there is anyone from the public that would like to speak to this ordinance, you may do so at this time. All right.
Mayor, can I ask?
Yes,
Can I
you
make
have-
one quick comment on this? And I'm just talking to the commissioners on this. Basically,
Okay.
you know, we approve these things. I've been approving these things for 10 or 11 years. And what I'm going to talk about at our planning retreat in the near distant future is it pertains to things like this, that I'm hoping that we're going to figure out a way to maybe change our code or an ordinance or something where when we approve things, something like this, that some portion therein becomes workforce housing. I don't know how we do it or how we come up with something like that, but we've got to start addressing this issue of workforce housing for the people that work for this city, for school teachers and other people. And this is a prime example, because it's too early to tell now, but if it's written into the code that 5 or 10% of these developments that we approve out here have some percentage for workforce housing. However it looks, it's very generic. I know I'm being kind of bland, but this is exactly what we as commissioners hear all the time. You're tearing down these groves and you're putting all these high-end condos and nobody can afford them that live here and blah, blah, blah. So I'd love to see what's going on. I guess I do. I mean, but at the end of the day, I'm going to start talking more and more, and I'm talking to you guys at this planning retreat about trying to come up with ways to start addressing workforce housing. I'm not talking about, anything other than workforce housing. That's what's on my mind. So, and I'm using this as an example because this could be 244 units, I think T said. So if you had 10%, that's 24 units that we could potentially have for the people that work for our community that can't afford to live in our community because prices have gotten so high. So let's start thinking about that. And this is a good example that helps me bring home what I'm talking about. So that's it. That's all I had, Mayor.
Anyone else?
Just a quick question. We always kind of talk about these trips on the roads, but why not one more time? So Old Bartow Lake Wales Road, so is Highway 653 considered part of that trips, or is that, because that's where all the cars are flowing from this development. Is that in consideration in these trips, or?
Yeah, we take into consideration when they submit their traffic study, the trips are dispersed amongst the roadway network, so some would be traveling east and south, some would be traveling west and north. And so we look at those disbursement of trips and verify through the concurrency management system that there's available capacity on those adjacent roadway networks to handle those trips.
And I may just be missing it, but it seems like we had talked about at one time, accounting for in this grid already approved projects and trips taking out. Am I missing it, or is that not in here?
So those are accounted in our concurrency management system at the time of platting. When they get their plat approval, then they're vested for those trips. And we count those, we subtract them out of the equation so that they're not double counted. When we don't do concurrency management at land use and zoning, what we look at land use and zoning is compatibility and density and surrounding uses. We must assign a land use and a zoning designation to all annexed property. So at this point, we do a high-level analysis, but then when they do submit for site plan review, we dig into the details. And if they do not, if there are not adequate trips on the roadway, they cannot get their approval.
And I get that part, and I understand we're just assigning zoning here, but do you know capacity-wise where, what that looks like now? Because that...
I do. I would say 653 is starting to get constrained at this point.
So
Yes,
is it kind of like, are we getting to the point where first one that gets it in, and then the others are sitting waiting?
That's how it works.
Is that
Yes, sir.
where we're at on that, pretty much?
Yeah. If there's capacity at the time of plat, that the first one in will receive it, and then if the capacity is no longer there, then we're not allowed to issue an approval.
And that seems like probably where we're at out there.
I'd probably defer to Sean on exactly where we are. He maintains the concurrency management spreadsheets, but I do know it's getting constrained on 653.
Okay, anyone else? All right, we will have the second reading on March 25th. Ordinance 02410, which Assistant City Attorney would read by title only, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item on the dais tonight is ordinance number O-24-10, an ordinance amending Chapter 21 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, by assigning multifamily residential low-density R3 zoning district to an annex parcel, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of Scrivener's errors, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. General location, a parcel generally located southwest of the intersection of Old Bartow Lake Wales Road and Waters Road. The area covered by this request is 19.29 plus or minus acres. Mayor, this item is on for first reading tonight.
Thank you. City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a companion ordinance to what was just presented. This is ordinance O-2410 and pertains to the zoning.
All right. We will have the second reading on March 25th. However, if there's anyone from the public that would like to speak to this ordinance, you may do so at this time. Commissioners, are there any questions that you need? All right. We'll move on to ordinance 02413.
Thank you, Mayor. The last item of formal business on the dais tonight is ordinance number O-24-13, an ordinance amending Chapter 21, Article 2, Division 5, Section 2197, and Chapter 21, Article 2, Division 2, Table 2132, Sub A, for the purpose of addressing pharmacies and medical marijuana dispensing facilities in the mixed-use MX zoning district. Amending Chapter 21, Article 2, Division 2, Table 21-32, Sub A, for the purpose of addressing medical clinics. Amending Chapter 21, Article 9, Section 21-531, for the purpose of amending and adding definitions related to medical offices and medical clinics, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing severability, providing for codification, and providing an effective date. Mayor, this item is set on first reading tonight. A public hearing is required by Florida law.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, I'm going to ask Eric Labby to present ordinance O-2413 for first reading.
Mayor, Commissioners, Section 2197 of the Winter Haven Code of Ordinances provides standards for pharmacies and medical marijuana dispensing facilities, and was adopted in 2018 with the legalization of medical marijuana by the state of Florida. Other than where preempted by state law, local jurisdiction cannot regulate medical marijuana dispensing facilities differently from pharmacies. Currently, these uses are not permitted within the MX zoning district. Within properties currently zoned MX, there are two large medical clinics within the city of Winter Haven. One of these medical clinics is currently seeking to open an accessory pharmacy with their medical clinic campus. Staff has reviewed this and determined allowing pharmacies and medical marijuana dispensing facilities by special use approval as an accessory use to a medical clinic only in the MX zoning district would be appropriate. This request proposes the following amendments: adding pharmacies and medical marijuana dispensing facilities as an accessory special use, adding medical clinics as a use to the table, a table of uses, which is Table 2132A, and allowing them in the same zoning districts as a medical office, that a medical office is currently allowed, and amending and adding definitions for both medical office and medical clinic. All notification requirements were met. The Planning Commission did hear this on February 6th, 2024 at a regular meeting, voted to recommend approval of this request. 2 members of the public spoke in favor of the request. Staff does recommend City Commission approve ordinance O-2413. Stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you. We will have the second reading on March 25th. We have 2 people that would like to speak to this ordinance. And the first one is Cesar. So would you come to the podium and state your name and address for the record?
Good evening, Cesar Cedeno, and my address is 5410 Southwest 196 Lane, Southwest Ranches, Florida. Thanks for your time today. Well, I represent Centerwell Pharmacy. Centerwell Pharmacy belongs to Humana Insurance. We are working with Bond Clinic, and they'll speak a little bit after I'm done, to talk about what we want to do, but we're trying to open a pharmacy within their clinic to take care of the patients that are in that clinic. We do not do medical marijuana at all. We have a crew. We have actually a pharmacist and 2 technicians that are actually hired. We've completed the build-out of the pharmacy. We're just waiting for the business license. When we found out that it was not permitted by zoning, we started the process that led us here today. We have 34 pharmacy locations in Florida, 32 that are inside a clinic. The other 2 are mail order facilities. Each of our pharmacy team consists of at least 1 registered pharmacist and at least 1 technician. In this case, we have 2 technicians hired for this location. Our pharmacists do what every other pharmacist would do in your normal, regular community pharmacy. We dispense medications, we promote adherence to medication, we provide counseling to patients, immunizations, and we partner with the clinic that we're in to establish an optimal health outcome for our patients. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Ashley Scanlon, it's 2930 Eagle Nest View Drive, and I am here tonight representing Bond Clinic. We know Cesar and the Centerwell name may be new, but the Bond Clinic name in Winter Haven is not. We celebrated our 75th anniversary last year, and our pillars are community, access, quality, and reduced cost. And having a pharmacy on our premises is going to allow us to be able to meet those pillars in a very specific way. 5 of our 7 locations are in the Winter Haven community, treating about 1,700 patients in those locations each day. And so them being able to come on our premise and see their physician and get their medications refilled in one stop is going to be something that our patients have been asking for a long time. This is about a 4-year project in the works. Dr. Ikevitis, our CEO, has been very specific about bringing on a specific partner that they know is going to be able to meet all of our needs. And so we are very grateful to Eric Levy and his team of helping us walk through this process. We desire to be good community partners. We feel like having the definition of this only being allowed in a medical clinic with very specific parameters is important for us to be community partners. So we thank you for your time this evening.
All right.
Mayor, I've got a question
Yes.
for the lady. Can I ask you a quick question? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Oh, you're fine.
And I'm a patient of Bond Clinic, and I love Bond Clinic, so other than like CVS and Walgreens, who would be against this? I don't understand why. Who would not want you to do this?
I don't think that there's any opposition with that. I
Okay.
think it simply has been the way the code was written, and it opening up the door for dispensary.
Right.
That because of there being schools in close proximity and a lot of single resident housing, I've learned a lot. That the code is written very specifically. And so as we talked with Eric and his team, my first question was, well, how can we make this happen while also protecting the community and not allowing dispensaries where it's not wanted?
So, but there's no
No,
headbutting,
sir.
or there's no fighting going on that we're not aware of? Okay,
None, no.
thank you.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all I had.
All right. Anyone else?
Quick question. So, Eric, the only reason medical marijuana was thrown in here is that's just because how the state statute wrote it, basically,
Yep, exactly correct.
creating confusion where there didn't need to be confusion?
Yes.
They've never done that before.
No comment.
So, and so it does, I guess my concern is this doesn't just affect Bond Clinic. This affects, would affect the broader spectrum, right? So are we opening the door potentially for the broader spectrum?
So it only allows for pharmacies and medical marijuana dispensaries within a medical clinic that has 3 or more practices within that clinic. That's how we define a medical clinic. In the MX district, we currently only have 2 of those types of clinics. And so I don't believe it opens the door for any negative impact on the community. We still have regulations in place in the code that they have to be separated 500 feet from a school. Medical marijuana specifically has to be 500 feet from a school. So we still have protections in place. It can only be allowed as an accessory special use. So it has to be partnered with a clinic, of which we only have 2 currently in the MX district. And it has to go through a special use approval, so the planning commission gets to see it and look at community impacts and approve or deny it as well. So I believe we have adequate protections in place.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
But I think it's also for the adding clarity for definitions related to that, since the medical marijuana piece was, added. So I think that was the real reason, I assumed, so that there would be clarity and definition for that, so there wouldn't be an ambiguity with regards to it, to the zoning itself.
Right, with respect to the definitions we added, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, so we specifically modified the definition of medical and healthcare offices to specifically say when 3 or more medical fields are located within one office medical campus, it should be considered a medical clinic, and then we go on further to define medical clinic within our code.
Okay. Anyone else? We will have our second reading on March 25th. We have no new business. Commission liaison reports. Commissioner Dessler.
I got really nothing. I was spent a week in Charleston with my three grandkids. That's where I caught this cold. But I was able to get back in time for Officer Patterson's wreath laying ceremony, and that's one I rarely miss that one. I really do like that particular ceremony. And I had a meeting today with Austin Gravely. He's the Fort Meade mayor. He's just threw his hat in the ring to run for Sam Killebrew's seat, and he's working the rounds. He's going to be coming to see all of you guys at some point. Nice man, and we had a nice long visit in the conference room in here about what he wants to do, and he's definitely a home rule guy. So, but his name's Austin Gravely, and he'll be reaching out to each and every one of you, I suspect. So, but that's it from me, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Dollison.
Well, I had the privilege of actually having my last orientation today.
You're already.
We're going to have a graduation ceremony for him this evening.
I would get a pin, a cap, or something, but it was, I want to say that I've really enjoyed the process, that it was very well laid out, and really helped me to really appreciate the staff and the leadership of our city and the functioning of various departments. So I want to certainly give a big thank you to our city manager and staff for just laying that out so wonderfully. I appreciate every bit of that. Also had the opportunity to be a part of the Florida Citrus Hall of Fame, and that was quite enlightening. I had didn't know much about them, but just some wonderful people that were the trailblazers, I guess, for this area in Citrus, and also was able to attend the Planning Commission meeting. It's interesting coming to the Planning Commission, it's kind of coming full circle for me, because that's the first commission I served on in the city many years ago, and so it's interesting to come back to that and be able to be a part of liaison to them. Also, I was able to be here for the memorial for Johnny Patterson Jr. That fateful day and that time certainly has been a part of my memory from 27 years ago. The chaplaincy program was established at the death of Officer Patterson, and myself, Father Fred Roos, and Officer Mooseberger, and Darrell Kirkland, who was our chief at the time. And we established the chaplaincy program then. So it was just wonderful to see the parents, and I'll never forget Johnny's mother, as she leaned and laid upon my shoulder. She said, I miss my baby. And it really touched my heart, because, when you lose your child, that is a terrible, terrible loss. Also, I was able to attend the City Employee Appreciation, wonderful picnic, good hamburgers and hot dogs, and enjoyed every bit of that. I was able to go just a few days ago to the Legoland new attraction, and I got a chance to sit in the Ferrari. I'll never forget, trying to get out of it was a little experience, but it was, it's really nice. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of children who will come to the park and enjoy it. That's it. That's all I have.
All right. Commissioner Mercer.
Okay. I attended the Community Fest. I think that's about the largest I've seen it in quite some time. I attended the Florida Citrus, Miss Florida Citrus and Miss Winter Haven, and then the 100-year celebration. Also, Leadership Polk, Winter Haven Day. Attended their luncheon meeting here. They visited all the sites in the city of Winter Haven, and mainly City Hall and that. The City Employees Appreciation barely got there in time, so, because I was double booked on some other things on that issue. Did the Lego Ferrari build and race. Like I said, got to sit in the car. It's pretty amazing to see that it was made out of Legos. And,
2 tons. 2
yeah.
tons.
Yeah, 2 tons of Legos, and so, wow. But anyway, and I also did the PSC evaluation, RFQ 2415, design criteria for the wastewater treatment plant, and attended Officer Johnny Patterson's annual memorial ceremony, and I do try to make that every year. I was working here when he got killed, so Winter Haven PD run for Special Olympics. I did that. Last year I placed first. This year I got fourth. But the cold weather and some of the rain, I didn't get out and walk that I normally do, so I kind of slowed down, I guess, some too. And I also did a fundraiser for Project Eagle. Did that, served Gator from about 12 to 1 o'clock, I think, because it was late coming out, until about 3 or 4. So on the housing, thank you, Mayor, for all that you're doing on trying to get that going. And the second piece of it, you know, the plan was the first piece and how to go about that. And we got the plan, and locally we got the fund established, but part of that was fighting the battle for the state, who kind of, I guess, provide the money through a taxing means, and then they use it for everything else but what it was designed to be used for, and that was affordable housing. So now we, after 2 years of fighting that battle with the legislature, they now are allowing it to be used. They dedicated it 100% to affordable housing, but they still take from that fund. They promised it 1 year, and the next year they took from it again. So, but we've got 88 units. You know, here now, and there's more being built. And so the next step is getting that development piece. And thank you, Mayor, for getting that started. So,
Mayor Pro Tem. Just a couple items this evening. Attended the downtown CRA meeting, which several of the items that we discussed this evening in our CRA meeting were discussed in that meeting. Attended the art festival this past weekend. Had the first opportunity to sit at a sidewalk cafe and have lunch. Drug my 14-year-old with me, and he had waffles, so he enjoyed it. And our little dog, Daisy, she approved it as well. So sidewalk cafe is good to go. Daisy approved. TJ Smith and D. Goodrich Center Assisted Living Facility attended that ribbon cutting this morning. That facility is located just west of the skate park. Phenomenal job that the owners have done there at that property. Landscaping is absolutely phenomenal. Inside is completely restored. Outside looks great. So that is really a treat to that area. And they expressed to me their concern and some of the neighbors needing to do the same thing. And I said, well, you guys took a first step, and now it's, you know, everybody else is going to want to keep up with you. And that's how progress starts, is you got to take that first jump. So just an absolutely great mission there that those folks are undertaking, but the grounds are beautiful as to what was there previously. Attended the Leadership Polk Luncheon as well. I heard from several members once again. I know when I attended Leadership Polk, City of Winter Haven Day was, and I may be biased, but it was the absolute best day in the Leadership Polk class. Heard that from several members as well going through this year's class. So phenomenal job, and I have no doubt that we're going to continue to hear that from future Leadership Polk participants that City of Winter Haven Day is the day to look forward to of all the classes, and so I love to hear that. Has also attended the City Employee Appreciation Lunch, and then attended the Community Fest as well, and that, like Commissioner Mercer mentioned, that's the most crowded I've seen that event in quite a while, so that is phenomenal. I think it's the Bucks cheerleaders help, Brady liked them. I'd stayed away. But that was a great event and great for the community to get everybody out and about there. So with that, that's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I wanted to say also the TJ Smith, I was there also for the ribbon cutting today. I wanted to mention because, and I wasn't aware of at the time, that the owner, she named the center after her son, who was slain. And in fact, I remember when it happened, and for years they had not found, it was a case they had not found the murderer. But she did that in honor of her son, in remembrance of him, but as well as the owner who actually owned that property and literally almost gave the property to them. And so I thought that was just compelling just to know that and to keep alive the memory of her beloved son, because again, very tragic situation that happened. And so just be able to be there today and share that with them was really important.
Okay, thank you. All right, I had a few things. I attended the Community Fest, and I mean, the weather was great, so that made it great. I mean, there were a ton of people down there. Gained a lot of weight in the last 2 weeks. Eating those hamburgers and hot dogs that the city prepared, staff prepared. They were good, and the baked beans. Attended the Leadership Polk County. In fact, I welcomed them to the city of Winter Haven at the Rich Theater and also had lunch with them as well. Attended the Miss Florida Citrus and the Miss Winter Haven pageants. The pageants were on a Friday night, and then the 100th anniversary of the Miss Florida Citrus pageant banquet was held on Saturday night. So that was a good event, and in fact, the young lady that won from Miss Winter Haven is actually a resident of Winter Haven. So that was good. I've attended all of the Officer Patterson's memorials since I've been on the commission, and it's, in fact, his dad said to me, I know you're going to always be here. I said, well, yes, I'm going to be here if I can. If I'm not here, there's something going on with me that either in the hospital or laid up or whatever. So he said, yeah, we can count on you. Attended the Winter Haven EDC board meeting, and Bruce always has something that he can't tell us about that's happening out at the ILC, and so I'm interested to know what's going on there. But there is something happening out there, and that's all I can say, because that's all I know, because that's all he'll give us. He will never give us anything until it's a done deal. Attended the Legoland exhibit, and the thing that was amazing about that Ferrari, I sat in it, took pictures, had a hard time getting out because it was so low to the ground. But it weighed 2 tons. And the only things that was made into it that was not Legos were the tires and the wheels. And 2 tons worth, it was built in Europe somewhere and shipped to Winter Haven. So, I mean, 2 tons, that's pretty heavy. You know how a Lego brick is very small. I didn't find out how long it took them to make it, but I can imagine it took a long time.
14,000 Legos, I think.
14,000?
That's what they said.
I had the opportunity to serve on the Heartland Regional Resiliency Coalition. I served on a panel, and it was a very good panel. And one of the questions that was raised to us after we gave our spiel was, Mayor Birdsong, what would you do in Winter Haven if you had all of the money in the world? What would you spend it on? And I told our city manager that I pulled out his pillars and went straight to those. His 5 pillars, and you need roads, you need water, you need transportation, you need all of that, you need quality of life, but we would solve the homelessness problem, we would affordable housing problem, we would solve everything, if we had all the money in the world. So they thought that was interesting, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Also attended the breakfast that Main Street puts on for the city employees, and it was really, really good food, and that's how I said I'm gaining all this weight, because everywhere I go, they're feeding us, and Legoland fed us, and so, I mean, you just gain weight. Drew, you know about that, though, right?
I do.
All right. I'll get back.
No, it's okay.
Get back to my list. All right, and pretty much that's all I had for the last 2 weeks. All right, we'll move on to Drew. Do you have anything?
Nothing from the legal desk, Mayor. Thank you.
Not now. Sounds like a defamation case.
City manager.
Glad Drew's here. That could have taken that shot tonight. 2 things. One, I just want to extend congratulations to your Winter Haven Chamber of Commerce. You may have seen in some news releases that came out in the past few days that they have officially been reaccredited as a 5-star accreditation for the Chamber of Commerce. That is an outstanding accomplishment. I think this is I forget how many years they've been accredited now, but to get their 5-star reaccredited was a major lift for them. And so if you see members of our chamber, be sure to congratulate them. I know that they are feeling very good about that. Also, just want to remind you that I will be out of town beginning tomorrow morning through the end of the week, doing some travel with my family, and MJ will be available to respond to any issues that come up, and he and I will communicate daily on anything that needs significant or of significance that I need to be involved in. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant City Manager.
Nothing tonight, thank you, sir.
City Clerk.
Nothing this evening.
Emergency matters not received for the agenda. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stand adjourned.